Hi folks, this is Dave with the Bit Journal broadcast. Let me tell you, I've been really impressed with this thing lately, the SupaRetroN HD, but today we're not going to be talking about this. I've talked about this in a previous video briefly when I was showing you Shadow Dancer for my first video that I did for New Year's. However, I was impressed with the quality that Hyperkin actually put into this product. It showed me that they were improving upon their work, and just today, Amazon just came over and they shipped me this bad boy. Hyperkin's new SupaRetroN HD. The SupaRetroN HD basically takes Super Nintendo and Super Famicom games and allows you to play them in 720p on your television through an HDMI port. It also has composite jacks on the back of it, so you could plug it into a regular TV. Let's say you needed to play light gun games like Super Scope games and stuff like that. It may be possible. I don't quite remember if the Super Scope had an attachment for the back of the system, because when I was younger I had a Genesis. I never owned a Super Scope, so correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But other than that, though, hey, let's take a look and see what's inside the box. So, just get this bad boy open here. And as you can see, we have the system, and we have a controller in there. I'll pull all that out in a bit. So, let us take off this purple cardboard sleeve. First thing I want to look at is the controller. So, right over here, we have a SNES style controller. Pull it out of its packaging. I hope you guys don't mind, but I'm going to skip over the HDMI cord and the power cable because, well, hey, you guys see a million HDMI power cables and cords, but know that one is included in here, so that is definitely a good thing. It also includes AV cables as well. Here, if you look at the control pad, you notice it has the old school purple and gray color scheme that went for the US release of the Super Nintendo. But we definitely have some interesting things going on over here. For one, on the back, we have more padding, just like we did with the SupaRetroN HD Squire controller that comes with that. And that padding, let's see, how does that feel? Feels pretty good. Not too bad. We'll see what it's like when I'm playing games later on. But yeah, we've got padding on this. Of course, we have our triggers. They feel nice and tight. D-pad's a little bit smaller, but still a quality pad. When you press down on it, I don't feel like it's one of those four-way pads that just presses down the center and doesn't move. As you can see, there's a little bit of rotation going on over there, so that means that they had to mold this with a ball at the bottom, which is really good for fighting games and whatnot. We have the select and start button. A little squishy, but not too bad overall. And we have our convex buttons down here, and the infamous concave buttons. Also notice that we have these squared off corners, just like you do on the Squire controller. More on this in a little bit, but so far I'm digging it. It's pretty cool. Now let's see what else we got here. By the way, just to let you know, this box also actually comes with two controllers. There's a second one right over there. So, if you got two players, even better. Turtles in Time on HD. Can't wait to rock that. So, let's take a look at another thing. Here, we have the actual console itself. Now, have a look at that beauty right over there. It actually looks a little bit closer to the layout of the Super Famicom. Has the American color scheme. You notice we have a purple slot over here. Opens and closes. Nice. Got an eject button. Over here we got our power button. And right over here we also have our reset button. So, one thing to note right on the back of this system, right over here, there is a switch. And that switch allows us to work between NTSC and PAL regions. So, if you've got any European games, yes, you could play them on this bad boy as well. Let's look towards the back of the system. On the back of the system right here, you can see we've got our USB power right here. That's micro USB. I have experimented with this, and you can actually power this with a USB power bank. Also, if you have a USB-powered monitor as well. As long as it's not draining too much voltage from that thing, guess what? You could portabilize this thing too, which is awesome. Now, over here, we also have the HDMI port, and this is what's going to give us that crisp 720p resolution. We've got our old school composite jacks right here, and over to the side, this is a 4x3 and 16:9 aspect ratio switch, and what that basically will do is it'll either keep it in the old school 4x3 standard, or it'll swap it over to stretch screen 16:9. Personally, I like the 4x3. I mess with the 16:9 once in a while just to see what it's like with certain games, but realistically, 4x3 is definitely the way to go with this. So, let's get started with the games. Hi folks, so once again we're playing Turtles in Time. Right now I am using the controller that actually comes with the SupaRetroN HD, so we'll get to try this out. And immediately, what I'm noticing over here is that the colors really pop. They're very bright and very vibrant. I do not know if there's some type of a graphical filter on here, but it does look a bit smoother than what you would normally see with your average composite cables hooked up. This is running in HD 720 right now in a 4x3 aspect ratio. So let's get started. There we go, we're at our screen. One player, nice. And here we go. We've got Leonardo. That's usually my main in these games, so let's get that started. Now, this scene right here looks awesome. The colors on April's jacket looks really crisp. Shredder looks awesome in the background. I love the greens coming off the turtles. You can see Master Splinter over there as well. Animation looks really good. It always did for this game, but for some reason, I don't know. I'm usually not a big fan of smoothing, but it kind of works for this. I mean, we'll see how it works with other games, but right now, I'm really enjoying the look of this. It looks and feels HD. Now, good thing to note, this controller feels very spot on, very comfortable. I'm not noticing any kind of input lag whatsoever. The cable has got to be at least about 10 feet. It's really, really nice. Right now, I am just going to beat the living hell out of these foot shoulders. Get over here, guys. Oh man, I hate that. I always forgot, if you're not going for your jump attack, sometimes you get that floaty attack in the background, and it slows you down. It comes out when you least expect it sometimes, if you're not careful. Oh boy, here we go again. Alright, let's save that pizza if we can. Beat some enemies first. Oh, there we go. For a second there, thought I was going to be forced to eat it. So we still have some good life left before we can pick that thing up. But we will definitely get it before we have to move on. Alright, there we go. Moving on. Colors are looking really nice and really vibrant. Man, look at Crank's suit in the background over there. The lightning attacking. The effects are looking pretty sweet. I would definitely say I like this a lot. Super Nintendo game, but I am getting some serious arcade vibes because of the nice coloration on the system. I can't say that everybody else is going to like this. I mean, it's really up to you, but from what I'm seeing right now, I'm pretty satisfied with what I'm looking at. Definitely not bad for around $47. Good price point for this machine. Don't get me wrong, you've got analog also. They've made the analog Super NT, which also looks awesome. Maybe one day I'll get to try that out. But that's a very expensive machine. I mean, it's not as expensive as the analog NT, but still, I mean, you know, you're talking Probably almost, what, 160, 70, $180? That's a good chunk of change. But, basically for a little less than a third of the price, you could have this machine right over here. Plays the cartridges beautifully. Here I am trying to take out Baxter Stockman from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, of course. I know he's the first boss. I was a little annoying with that gun, but we will take him out. Okay, he's got one more life left. Ah, man, he caught me with that, caught me with the hands. Let's see. There he goes again. Come on, come down. There we go. You're done, buddy. Alright, let's see this explosion here, and boom! There he goes, out of here. Alright, let's check out some... Earlier I mentioned that the SupaRetroN HD can also play Super Famicom games. So, let's play a Super Famicom game. This right here is an original copy of Fire Emblem, Genealogy of the Holy War. I believe this is the fourth Fire Emblem game, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but somebody can correct me if they know. If any of you guys play Fire Emblem Heroes, this is the game where Sigurd comes from. So, if you were curious about Sigurd's origins, this is the game where he comes from. As you can see, most of the text is in Japanese because this is from Japan. You'll probably find a translated version somewhere out there, but you know, this is a Japanese version. We're going to be playing the original. So, let's get started on this. Let's start a new game since you guys will be seeing this. So it goes through the chronology of events within the Fire Emblem world. I'm not going to really spoil much for you. Let's go take a look at the characters. Most of you aren't going to understand this text. Let's get right into the action. And if you do understand this text, by the way, kudos for actually knowing Japanese. I play a lot of imports. I'll be honest with you, I don't know the language. I should probably take a class sometime. It would be pretty awesome. One thing this game was known for was for having a lot of units on screen at once. The other thing it's well known for is for having nice little cinematics, like what you're looking at up on the screen over here. And the other thing it was well known for is there are a lot of knights, a lot of horseback, a lot of mounted units in this game. And they have a very special strategy to them. They can actually flank out their opponents, which is pretty awesome. So if you have some spaces left after an attack, you could opt to back up on the attack and gain a little grounds on your opponent, or get away in defense if you have to. Alright, so here we've got Sigurd. I'm going to head over there and attack this guy right here. So I believe we have to head over. And let's see, there's our sword. And we'll attack him. I always love the animation in Fire Emblem. It's nice and clean. This game specifically, they really made some nice looking sprites for the attack animations. Very realistic for its time. Too bad these games never came out in the US earlier. I would have totally picked these up back in the day. But I guess they didn't think that we were ready for this yet. But man, talk about some awesome games. Now, one thing to note, we have one guy over here who can defend the castle. We could move him as well, but you could also put him in a defensive position, because you definitely do not want the castle getting taken over. I don't have any other units in there right now, but when you start most rounds, you usually gotta get your units out from the castle and onto the battlefield. Alright, so far so good. This is looking good. The colors look nice, solid. Wow, look at all those units I'm going to have to fight later on. And that's just the beginning. Alright. Let's end that turn. Get another turn in here. Always cutscenes going on. Another thing that's interesting about this game that you see more often in the more typical Fire Emblems now is the fact that certain units can talk to each other, and if they do happen to talk to each other, they get stat boosts in the middle of the game, and that's really cool that you can get those stat boosts and improve the power of your enemies. Oh boy, what just happened there? I just lost a unit at the beginning of the game. That's not cool. He doesn't always die. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Looks like I'm not going to be able to get him this time around. You know, the way that usually goes, I'd reset, but I'm shooting a video, so no time for resetting today. Anyway, I've got this long conversation drawn out. Let's get him a couple more attacks. Oh! And looks like somebody is getting kidnapped over there. What are you doing? Alright. There he goes, walking off the map. As you can see, too, in this game, the maps are really big. They're well known for that type of a thing. You see that? Wow. Right there. A lot of talking, but that's what RPGs are about. Look at all those units just moving in right now. So let's see, we got an axe guy, but if you know the weapons triangle, axe does not defeat sword. Sword defeats axe, axe defeats lance, lance defeats sword. So, it's good to understand your weapons triangle when you're playing this series. Alright, but I really like the way this is looking. This controller is feeling very comfortable. I'd like to say that again. The D-pad feels surprisingly good, despite the fact that it's not the same exact size that I remember on the SNES pad. But nonetheless, it's a really great pad. Alright, let's get in a couple more attacks here. Actually, I don't want him to destroy that village, so let's get this guy. Alright, took him out. Now, as you can see, I defeated him, and I still have some leftover spaces, so I can choose to move out of the way if I want to, but I want to actually visit this village and try to talk to them. There we go. Character talks. Let's see, maybe we'll get a character out of it? Oh, we got some gold. Nice. Alright. Interesting. So, let's finish up our attacks here. Alright. I thought we'd get him in that round. But I can move to defense, so we will protect our main. Got a Lancer here, might as well let the Lancer finish him off. Oh! I guess he's not a Lancer. Even better. Rock on. Alright, folks. I'm really liking the way this is looking. Let's check out a couple more games. Oh, before that, let me just move this guy into place. There we go. Alright, cool. On to the next game, folks. Alright, folks, now it's time for something a little bit different. We've got our Super Game Boy plugged into our SupaRetroN HD with Final Fantasy Adventure. If you guys know what Final Fantasy Adventure is, it's actually known as Seiken Densetsu in Japan, also known as the very first Mana game before Secret of Mana. When it came out in the US, it was marketed as Final Fantasy Adventure because they wanted to use the Final Fantasy name to sell a lot of these games. Later on the Game Boy Advance, this game was remade as Sword of Mana, or in Japan, Shinyaku Seiken Densetsu. You'll find out I'm a big Mana fan as we go through this channel and get deeper into things. But hey, let's play this, see how things go. It's looking beautiful. Man, I remember when I used to have my my original brick that looked just like this. First Game Boy I ever owned. That was a great system back then. had Tetris and not Turtles in Time. Fall of the Foot Clan. Yeah, that was the one. Notice I had to close my eyes over there, kind of get the memory going. Remember what I had on there. F1 Race. That was an awesome game as well. Man, they had a lot of cool titles on there. These days, a lot of people don't know about those games. Can be a bit underappreciated sometimes. Oh, here we go. We're at the name screen. So, let's go. Oh, no, did not want that. Let's get in. Get started. Girl. I don't know. What are we going to call this girl? Let's see. I think we will call girl. Let's do that. G-I-R. Oh, there we go. It's like Kratos. Boy. Girl. Here we go. Took a couple hits there. Here's another one. Oh, there we go. At least we got him. All right, come on, open the gate up. Oh, that's right. We don't open up the gate yet because we need to get back into the the gladiatorial area where they keep all of your friends, basically, the ones who have been captured by the Dark Lord. Oh no. Looks like Willie's passing away once again. Not a spoiler. You know, now that I think about it too, they did a second remake for Final Fantasy Adventure. And that was simply called, I don't know if it was Sword of Mana. I know it was on the PlayStation Vita. Happened to own that game as well. But Adventures of Mana. Yes, that's what they called it. It was on the iPhone also. I have that version. It's I'd say the most faithful remake would have to be Adventures of Mana. Follows the gameplay to a T over here. Okay, looks like we gotta fight again. Time to find our way out of here. Try and win this. Alright. Now we fight. Oh no, I took damage again. I'm gonna try to keep that distance on him. It's a little hard to do that sometimes, considering how they designed this game. But as long as you're careful, you can get this guy down. Oh, see what I'm saying? Got him. And I didn't die, thank God. Alright, down the wall. But if you know your Mana games, I think you have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen next. So, Julius and the Dark Lord are having a conversation about how they're going to try to take over the world. Uh-oh. Talking about the Mana Tree and all that good stuff. And finally we've been discovered. And we can get into the meat and potatoes of this game. Get into the overworld. Well, guess you won't let me leave here alive. Oops. I have to say, for a really early Game Boy title, back then. This game has some beautiful graphics. Looking at those backgrounds on the waterfall, you know, for back in 1989, that was some pretty high-tech stuff they were pulling off. You know, the emulation on this is really good too. I'm talking about the hardware emulation mainly because you see that flicker on the characters right there? That flicker is something that you see in the original game, so that's good. The emulation is definitely spot on. See if we can get to the first village on this. It's been a little while. Yep, back in circles. Alright, I think we gotta keep going to the right. Then, that's right, we can go down from here. It's interesting how they put the Final Fantasy moniker on this. It was actually a monogame all along. Do have to admit though, the sprites look very similar, and guess what? There are chocobos in this game as well. You wouldn't know that unless you play deeper into it, but they're definitely there. Alright, level up. Select my growth type. Let's go with power. Yes. Hey, how did I miss that guy? Get over here. There we go. Hit again. And there's the girl that they're after. Let's go save her. Uh-oh, Hasim's got a wound. Let's get this girl to Wendell. Hasim has passed away. And along with Willie. Oh no, what are we going to do? Girl, call me girl. Now one cool thing about this is you can hit the start button and go to ask. When I ask the girl something, guess what? She can treat my wounds. And then she slowly starts healing my hit points away. So, she may be an NPC, but she's definitely useful. If you play Sword of Mana, you actually get to play as the girl on the Game Boy Advance, which is pretty good. I highly suggest that version. They did some really nice sprite art for that. Real decent remake. Alright, folks. You know what? I'd say this will do it for now. I want to get on to the next game, so yeah, this has been the Super Game Boy on the Hyperkin SupaRetroN HD. Let's go check out something else. Finally, I wanted to kick this off with The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I know many of you have played this game quite often, and because of how familiar many people are with this game, I figured let's take a look at this. So first thing I want to say is, well, I've got a lot of save files in here. Let's start a new one up. Man, I have to say I'm really impressed with this system. For the price, you can't go wrong. I'm playing an HD 720. Everything is looking beautiful on this thing. Oh, look at that. Pixel perfect. Love it. Time to go rescue the princess once again. Slide our way through the darkness. And let's head to the castle. we hopefully will not be noticed. Although we probably will be. Nope. Maybe not. Doo-doo-doo-doo! There we go. Nice. Gotta light this place up a bit. Alright. Now we are lit up and ready to go. Hit him with the charge, nice. Look at the color on the rugs. You can see the patterns really nice and clean. See all the nice individual lines of the bricks. How they get smaller and smaller. Coloration looks really good. This is definitely a Link to the Past as I remember it. But now it's on a modern day television, and that rocks. Now sure, you can go and you can get the SNES Classic, which I also own. And that's a nice system as well. And a Link to the Past will look just as good. And if you're one of those people who doesn't own original cartridges and just wants to get your old school going, more power to you. I say go for it. But if you've got a bunch of cartridges and you want to play them in HD, perhaps you have a bunch of old carts that you would like to show to your sons and daughters, definitely give the Hyperkin SupaRetroN HD a look. You may enjoy the system. I'm highly impressed. Shadows look nice. Rain effects look nice. Mode 7 was looking beautiful. Man, you cannot go wrong with this thing. There we go. Nice. Let's get in here. There we go. Can we get behind there yet? I don't think we can yet, but let's see. Nope. Totally forgot about that. But yeah, this is definitely a high quality piece of hardware. Sorry about the silence, folks. I am absolutely just lost in this game right now. You can even see the curtains really well. This is quite impressive. There we go, you take that. Oh, he just wrecked me over there. What? There we go, get out of here. I have a key to get somewhere. There we go. We've got the map. Alright. Okay, folks, I think we will stop this here. But, as you can see, that is the SupaRetroN HD. Like I said, if you want to play your cartridges in HD, definitely check this out. Check out their controllers, too. You can still play with your original controllers on the system if you want to, but these controllers are not bad either. They're really high quality, and the grips on the back really give it a very tactile feel. So yeah, SupaRetroN HD, can't go wrong. This is Dave signing out. Have a great one with the Bit Journal broadcast. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video, and hit a like if you liked what you've seen, alright? Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye now.